take you back to 2013, as a matter of fact, when we had a press briefing room that even semi made some sense and dealt in some truths. This came up in 2013 on the debt ceiling, and here's what Jake Carney had to say about it then.
I mean, I'm not sure what this is when it comes.
Reaching the debt ceiling.
The Congress has to vote to raise the debt ceiling. The president can't raise it by himself. People have talked about the 14th Amendment, and this administration does not believe that the 14th Amendment gives the power to ignore the debt ceiling. And even if the president could ignore the debt ceiling, the fact that there is significant controversy around the president's authority to act unilaterally means that it would not be a credible alternative to Congress raising the debt ceiling, and would not be taken seriously by the global economy and markets. I mean, I'm not sure what.
So when the Obama administration actually sounds reasonable, that tells you where we are with the administration that currently holds the office. And just if you didn't hear where we are, here's the president the other day.
I'm looking at the 14th Amendment as whether or not we have the authority. I think we have the authority.
I think we have.
The question is, could it be done and invoked in time that it would not be appealed and as a consequence past the date in question and still the fall of the debt? That's a question that I think is unresolved.
The fact that he even says he thinks he has the power just tells you this guy is as close to wanting to be a wannabe dictator as we may have ever seen. The fact that he thinks he even has the authority, that he could read the 14th Amendment, that the veracity of the public debt or whatever it says shall not be. He thinks that gives him the power to take basically the number one job of Congress, other than oversight, would be the power of the purse. That he could take it away from him. The grossest overreach by any president ever would be if he attempted to do this.
Well, and keep in mind, he's not really coming up with that himself. I mean, I don't think he can process what the 14th Amendment says. He can't seem to process enough coming out of his own mouth to make a complete sentence that makes sense. He doesn't know Yoon from Loon, and he doesn't know where his son died. I mean, let's face it. He's being told, you know what, just say this. I think we're going to do this. We're going to do this. You're going to say this. Okay. As long as I get to do it, as long as I get to be, can I still stay president? Yeah. He's just the figurehead.
As the editorial board in the Wall Street Journal says today, Biden is confusing the public, and he may be confusing himself about what the 14th Amendment really says and how it affects the debt ceiling. Section 4 of the amendment says that the validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, shall not be questioned. This means the Treasury cannot repudiate debt held by the public as issued in Treasury bonds and notes. As I've been saying, the idea that you don't make the bond payment, I've been using those words specifically, is this big red herring. In practical terms, this means Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen must prioritize debt repayment once statutory federal outlays exceed federal revenue. In other words, she and Mr. Biden can't willfully default even for a time without violating the 14th Amendment. And as I've been saying, when he comes into the Treasury, the 14th Amendment compels that the debt be paid. That's why every single person you hear, default on the debt. No, we're not defaulting on the debt. It's compelled by the 14th Amendment. There's more than enough money coming in every month to take the $35 billion or $40 billion, whatever the number is, and pay the debt. That's how it works. As David Rifkin and Lee Casey have written on these pages before, the Supreme Court held in Perry v. U.S. 1935 that the 14th Amendment covers all sovereign federal debt. Congress decided during the Great Depression to begin paying federal bonds in currency, including those that promised payment in gold. Bondholders sued to receive payment in currency equal to the gold value of the notes, and the justices agreed, saying that Congress had violated the 14th Amendment's public debt clause. What the 14th Amendment doesn't allow is the claim by many progressives that the president can issue new debt without the consent of Congress. Merely because Congress has approved new spending doesn't mean the president can issue new debt on his own authority to finance it. So no, you can't make the budget and fund the budget, Joe, no matter what anyone tells you. He cannot issue new debt on his own to finance Medicare, for example. As Article 1 of the Constitution makes extremely clear, that power belongs to Congress. Nor can the president issue new spending or forgive federal loans without Congress's statutory approval. That's why his college debt scam should get shot down in the courts as well this summer.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's the same story. Everybody who you hear say default on the debt is just lying to you. And just whether it's willful or not, they're just lying to you. We're not defaulting on the debt. The government may shut down, but we're not defaulting on the debt. The debt's going to get paid by the Treasury Secretary, compelled by the 14th Amendment every single month with the revenue that comes in that right now is at a record high in this country that we've only seen two other times revenues this high. To the tune of $500 billion in June is what the number will be.